Hello, smart mathematicians. Let's continue with our revision. We're doing question 7.1. In the diagram alongside, the graph of f of x is equal to negative 2 sine x is drawn for the interval of x being the element of this domain. It means that x is from negative 180 degrees to 180 degrees. That's the domain from here up to there. Right, on the grid provided, meaning that the same axis with f of x, draw the graph of g of x is equal to cos x minus 60 degrees for the same domain. Okay, clearly show all intercepts with the axis and the turning points of the graph. Right, I'm going to show you two approaches here. The first one, we are going to use the parent graph, meaning that we're going to use the graph of, let's say, m of x is equal to cos x. Because this graph g of x is like the transformation of the graph of cos x. Okay, and then the second approach, we're going to use the calculator. I'm going to take you through the steps that you can do when you're using the calculator, and then we sketch our graph. Okay, all right, let's start with the first one. If m of x is equal to cos x, what happens to m of x to form g of x? What happens to m of x to form g of x? So what is happening here? It means m of x is translated or is shifted by 60 degrees to the right. It is shifted by 60 degrees to the right. So this is our parent graph. We know the key features of this graph. We must know where this graph is its maximum point, where this graph is its minimum point, where the graph is its intercepts. We must know all those things, okay? In the period of the graph, we must know that the amplitude of the graph, we must know all those things. Before we look at the effects of the parameters like A, P, and Q, because from this graph we can have these parameters like this. Let me call it g of x still. We must know the effect of A, cos, and then x minus P. We must know the effect of P there, then plus Q. We must know the effect of Q. A affects what? The amplitude. Affects the amplitude, therefore it means it's going to also affect the range. Okay, P here is the horizontal shift to the left or to the right, and then if it's negative goes to the right, if it's positive goes to the left, and then Q is for the vertical shift. Just know those things. Right, now we're going to start by sketching our parent graph, which is this, using the key features that we know. So the parent graph at negative 180 degrees is negative 1, isn't it? Right. Maybe if you're not sure, you can even use your calculator for that. And then at negative 90 degrees, what is it? It's 0. We just have to know these things. And then at 0 degrees, it is at 1. And then at 90 degrees, it is at 0. And then at 180 degrees, it is at negative 1. This is the graph of m of x. We just created this graph so that we have our parent graph here. And then we say g of x is formed when m of x is shifted by 60 degrees to the right. Okay, because he has negative 60 here. If it's negative, means it's shifted to the right. So this is the graph here. Then it's shifted to the right. You see that? Because every block is what? Every block is 30 degrees. So we count 1, 2, that is 60 degrees. Every point shifts by 60 degrees. 1, 2, 60 degrees there. 1, 2, 60 degrees there. 1, 2, 60 degrees. So every point shifts by what? By 60 degrees. Then you can write the key features. Remember we said all intercepts with the axis and the turning points. So at this is negative 180. This should be at negative what? 120. You write negative 120 here and negative 1. That's the minimum point there. And then this is negative 30 degrees here. That's the x-intercept. Okay, I'll write everything once you have used the calculator method. And then here at 0 is 0,5. Okay, that's the y-intercept, 0,5. If you put 0 here where there's x, and then you see that you'll get 0,5. And then here, this is 60 degrees with what? The y coordinate is 1. And then here we have 150 degrees. And then there's the x-intercept. You see that? Okay. We'll write the intercepts once we have what? Used the calculator method. Let's go to the calculator method now. So what I want you to do, you take your calculator and then you follow the steps. I'm not going to be saying anything. I'm just going through the steps using the calculator. You just follow the steps and then we must get the same things. And then after that, we sketch our graphs. Okay, let's do that. Right, welcome back. I will really hope you managed to get these values from your calculator so we can sketch our graph now. So we don't need to have all the points. You can use all of them, but these points are enough. This point, and then where is the other point? This point, this point, this point. This one is very important. That's y-intercept. And then okay, this point also. We can use those points to sketch our graph. Okay, so we sketch our graph like this, and then okay, this is the graph that we have, which is the graph of g of x. Okay, we have used our calculator, and then we can write the all intercepts with the axis and the turning point. So here, this is the turning point. So we say this is negative 120, negative 120 goes with negative 1. And then this is the x-intercept, negative 30 goes with 0. And then the y-intercept, which is 0 degrees, goes with 0,5. This is 0,5, not here, but that is 0,5. And then we have 60 degrees going with 1. And then we have here 150 degrees going with what? 0. So we've managed to answer everything. Make sure that you answer everything, okay? And follow the instruction. Clearly show all intercepts with the axis, both the x and the y axis. and the turning points of the graph. This is how you can sketch the graphs. Just use your calculator or try to do the transformations from the parent graph, then that will assist you a lot. So we're going to meet when we're doing question 7.2.